morning, Eagle Nation. It's a Wednesday. It's the 97th day of school. Wherever you may be, please stop. Please stand. Let us rise together for this morning's Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before you're seated, I encourage you, I implore you to join me. Let's knock out 10. Why wouldn't we? We're Spider-Man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's too easy. See Batman do that. So, let's see what we got going on here today. A couple of things. First of all, that was a song dedication, and that song dedication was brought to you by Ms. Burris. Ms. Burris dedicates that song. It's the Golden Girls theme. Thank you for being a friend. She dedicates that song to Ms. Millett for giving up her prep time to help me with a combined class during specials twice this week. Having another set of eyes in the room is invaluable, and you're such a great friend. Thank you, Ms. Millett, and thank you, Ms. Burris, for that song dedication. Onward with our essay contest, which is due this Friday, and I've already started to get some submissions. Here's an example, and several others from first and second grade. But we continue on our journey today, gladly taking a look at Spider-Man, because we've all had enough of Batman, right? So I took this, for example, all the ideas that you had. And remember, writing is just organized thought. If you can think it, you can say it. If you can say it, let the information travel down your arm to your pen or to the keyboard and write it. If you can organize your thoughts, you can write an essay. So I took your ideas, and remember, I synthesized and summarized. I took all those different details that you put together about Spider-Man and how he's stronger than Batman, has more muscles than Batman, he can lift more than Batman, he can lift 2 tons, he can lift 4 tons. I put those together in a single statement, said Spider-Man's stronger than Batman. But I have to explain myself as a writer and back that up with evidence, especially in 2022. So I said, for example, he punched Hulk into space. That's a pretty good example. Another one, Spider-Man is more agile than Batman. That's my second reason, but I have to explain and back that up with evidence. So I said again, for example, he can crawl upside down and on walls, right? He's more agile than Batman. For example, he can crawl upside down and on walls. But I got a third reason. Spider-Man has incredible powers. Says who? Me. Let me explain myself. For example, he can sling webs and he has spidey sense. That's a pretty decent example. In every case, I first made a claim or gave a reason, and then I backed it up with an example. So I have a reason, example, reason, example, reason, example, reason, example. You could do this too. And little by little, what you're forming are small paragraphs that become your essay. So that really, by tomorrow, all we have to focus on is our introduction and then our conclusion. And by Friday, we'll have this thing wrapped up. So, we're going to add one last piece today. Something called the warrant. You notice this white space in between? Now we have to tell that after we gave the reason, then we gave an example, the warrant is the piece that connects the dots. It's the piece that tells our readers why this example matters. So, Spider-Man is stronger than Batman. For example, he punched Hulk into space. This matters because, I'm going to use that phrase and you can use it too. This matters because Hulk is bigger than Batman, comma, and if he can do that to Hulk, comma, he can do it to Batman. Eat that, Batman. Period at the end, started with a capital letter, commas, because I have in this case a complex sentence that has a independent clause. This matters because Hulk is bigger than Batman. And an independent clause. If he can do that to Hulk, followed by another independent clause. Independent followed by dependent, ending with another independent clause. He can do it to Batman. I needed to separate those with some commas. Then I go on to the next one, and I do the exact same thing. Spider-Man's more agile than Batman. For example, he can crawl upside down and on walls. Why does that matter? I'm so glad you asked. This matters because I'm going to use that phrase, and you could use it too. This matters because it can allow him sneak attacks. Right? Batman won't even see this coming. Because who's looking on walls and upside down on ceilings? Right? Capital letter at the beginning, period at the end. This is just an independent clause or a simple sentence. This matters because, actually it's not a simple sentence because I have because in there. This matters because it can allow him sneak attacks. It's actually a complex sentence that has an independent clause, this matters, followed by a dependent clause. Because it can allow him to sneak attacks. Capital letter, period, beautiful sentence. Now we're starting to get the flow of actual paragraphs. Now we can format them a little bit differently to show that they're paragraphs, but still, this is starting to come together. Let's read what we've got so far, because good writers read their own writing so many times. Spider-Man is stronger than Batman. For example, he punched Hulk into space. This matters because Hulk is bigger than Batman. And if he can do that to Hulk, he can do it to Batman. Spider-Man is more agile than Batman. For example, he can crawl upside down and on walls. This matters because it can allow him sneak attacks. Spider-Man has incredible powers. For example, he can sling webs and he has spidey sense. This matters because, and now you can fill in the blank. Hope you enjoyed this mini lesson today on writing. It was nice to focus on me for a change and not that ragbag Batman. And if you're writing about Spider-Man as having more compelling arguments, I appreciate you today. Thank you for that. Let's get on to some words of wisdom so you can get to the business of teaching and learning. And quickly, for goodness sakes. Today is on the topic of purpose. At some point in our lives, most of us will be asked the questions, what do you want to do when you grow up? And why do you want to do that? Probably the most accepted answer to that question would be this: to give the world in some positive way, to make the world just a little better. That's why every life is important. Every human being can do something wonderful in the world. Charles Allen says it this way: remember that you are needed. There is at least one important work to be done that will not be done unless you do it. Always keep in mind that we need you. The world needs the absolutely unique and unrepeatable gift that only you can give the world. It was something to think about. This is Mr. Spider-Man. Mask up. I have more N95s if you need them. Keep your distance and increase it by 6 inches to a foot, please. Omicron's for real. Stay in your zones, your cohorts, and if you have a cell phone, keep it put away at all times unless your teacher gives you explicit permission to use that. And then after all that's been done, make it a great day or not. The choice is yours.